recently finished this lovely fiction book, and I said I was going to do a book review on it. So today I'm excited to be sharing my thoughts on Tri-Party by Kikelomo Kuponiyi. Let us get started. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Rachel here. As always, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a thing. Like this video so that it is referred to other viewers as well, and don't forget to leave a comment as the video goes on. It's been a while. I have been away from shooting videos on YouTube, but oh my goodness, like I can't stop smiling because I'm so excited to just do this book review and to be able to upload some other videos that you guys are going to see in time. But how are you doing? How has life been? How was August for you? Let me know in the comments. What are your plans for September, reading or otherwise? Let me know in the comments as well. So like I said, today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on this book. It's a lovely fiction read written by Kikelomo Kuponiyi. I had done a previous review on her book Unfolding Grace, which I think was her debut novel, right? And I actually liked it. Yes, I had some reservations. I felt some type of way about it. It was a Christian fiction book, and I was like, yeah, this was a nice, story. So I mean, I really wanted to see maybe just how she wrote this book. And when I read the synopsis, and anybody who actually comes to my house and sees this book on the shelf and reads the synopsis is like, okay, I need to read this book. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys my thoughts on this book. I know that I had done a written review on Instagram, but obviously I had to do a book review on this one. So this book was sent to me by the Book Lady NG, which is a PR organization that does a lot of PR for self-published books, indie authors, that type of thing. So if you're looking for a plug for the promotion of your books, you can reach out to them. So let's get into this book, this juicy page turner in my opinion. I'm going to, like I said, Kikelomo Kuponiyi. She's a Nigerian author, so if you're looking for fiction reads by Nigerian authors, you can definitely pick up a book by her. So let me read out the synopsis of this book so that you can know what it's about. For many years, Samuel had been eating his cake and having it, secretly indulging in multiple affairs without his wife Tolani's knowledge. Along comes young and delectable Cynthia, and things start falling apart. His marital life becomes an uneasy tri-party which leaves each of the parties angry, heartbroken, and dissatisfied. Tolani is devastated when her wonderful marriage unravels at the seams with no warning and little explanation. Cynthia struggles to hold on to a forbidden love with an uncertain future while trying to fit the broken pieces together. Samuel is suddenly confronted with other factors that threaten his job and his very existence. Abduction, separation, and birth prove that it is not over until it is over. Sometimes you can get in trouble without committing any crime. Where does God come in? Journey with the trio to discover if love can beat the odds in this thrilling adventure of life. So yeah, basically, in fact, the synopsis of this book literally captures what the book is about. So it focuses on this guy. His name is Samuel, and he has been married to Tolani, and yes, indeed, he has been eating his cake and having it, basically stepping out of his wife on extramarital affairs, and he hasn't gotten caught. And the weirdest thing is that he doesn't see anything wrong in it. He just feels like, oh well, as long as I am respecting my wife and she doesn't know about it, then that's good. And you know how they say it, as God will have it. Something then happens, and he meets this Cynthia, who is, like they say, young and delectable. This guy is a lecturer, and the craziest thing is that he has everything going for him. He has Tolani, who is his wife, who is loyal and faithful to him, very beautiful and everything like that. And then he's this lecturer who makes money from doing like side gigs like emceeing and all this compare kind of jobs where he knows really big people even in Abuja, and he has a lovely life. Even on campus, he's a lecturer and he's popular because he's young, he's fit, he's good looking, he drives a fancy car. So everybody's like, oh, you know what, that's that lecturer. And then girls are like, oh, I'll try to get him. And then their friends are like, no, you can't. He's like a composed gentleman. He doesn't do any of that. And then comes along this Cynthia, who is like, oh, you think so? I'ma get him. And you see, that's how the devil works. So now this guy is on his own, and he meets Cynthia, and then their worlds sort of collapse into two, and of course he cannot resist the temptation, and he has a fling with Cynthia, which develops into something longer and much more complicated, and then a lot of things happen along the way that just makes it seem like this guy knows that he's getting back everything that he has done before, right? I love the way this book was written. I love the plot. Man, the end of the book, to be honest, I almost went into a book hangover. You know those books that you read where you finish and you're like, okay, oh. That was how I felt when I read the end of this book. I was like, okay, oh. Because you know the craziest thing about this book is, as much as it's fiction, the author really wrote this book almost like it was realistic fiction. I don't even know if there's a genre like that, but I feel like people need to get on that genre. Realistic fiction, where you have to keep on reminding yourself that Samuel is not real, Tolani is not real, but the reality is that, especially in Nigeria, a lot of marriages go through this. And I love the way she really wrote Samuel's character, explaining, you know, not necessarily like the reason or the excuse for his infidelity, but this was somebody who wasn't particularly emotionally intelligent. Like, as much as he was older, this is somebody who felt like, oh, there's nothing wrong with, you know, cheating, as long as the most important thing is that I'm not disrespecting my wife, because I am not, you know, bringing it to her front, like a lot of Nigerians like to say. And it's just so crazy how just from one little seemingly harmless affair, a lot of crazy things happened where this guy's life was literally at risk. There was, oh my goodness, I don't even know where to start from. But like, I'm so kind, so I rarely do reviews where I spoil everything. This is going to be a spoiler-free review. But yeah, I think the end of this book had me like, you know, it could have gone any way, really, but man, Tolani's resolve and her strength, I must definitely commend it. This was one of those things that even someone knew that, you know, I can't escape. God is punishing me for it. And I like the fact that, I mean, either ways, he was able to get closer to God, because trust me, after going through this kind of experience, you'll be like, hey, where is God? Let me go. And he changed. He evolved, not necessarily changed. He evolved into a better husband, a better, you know, human being in general. And yeah, I'm not going to say the other thing because that's going to be a spoiler. But yeah, that's basically what this book is about. So it was really a page turner for me. I really liked the plot. The plot was very, very engaging. And there's something I said on my Instagram. I was actually impressed by this book, you guys, because when I compare it to Unfolding Grace, I really see the way the author has evolved and grown as a writer. Like, even the writing, the expressions, the intentionality, and the way that this book kept me engaged was definitely better. I love the way that, you know, because I know that she writes Christian fiction, and while I'm very particular about Christian fiction books that I pick up, because it's not every, you know, Christian maybe ideology or principle that people share that I might agree with, or the way they express it in fiction, I love the way she was able to subtly introduce faith, which is one of the major themes in this book that I'm coming to. And the way she subtly introduced it was in a way that you could tell that, yeah, this would probably be the resultant effect of a circumstance that somebody has gone through, and it was very, very relatable. But I felt like she had really grown as an author and a writer, and, you know, I just really, really enjoyed the plot, and I thought it was engaging. I finished this book in a couple of sittings, you guys, and I think it's like more than 300 pages, but I actually like the way it was written. Down to the writing style of this book, it was written in the third person narrative, and mostly you got to see Samuel's life. I think this book was really, really focused on Samuel's life. So although it was written from the third person narrative, you got to see Samuel's life, and you got to see what, you know, everything about him, who he was, how he became who he was, even Tolani's life, Tolani's expectation, the fact that she was living in this bubble, and then Cynthia, who came into play, and a lot of all the other minor characters. So I feel like the writing style, I was okay with it. I was content with it. It was easy to read, easy to understand, easy to get by. Now, moving on to the characterization, because I keep on talking about this Samuel guy, who in a way should be the villain of this novel for putting Tolani through so much stress. But in a way, you sort of, I don't even want to say, you know that thing where you feel guilty for empathizing with the villain? In a way, you sort of start feeling sorry for the guy, because the guy went through so much, honestly. But I mean, maybe it's like the result of all his actions, but he went through so much, you guys. And I love the way his character was written. I love the way you could sort of empathize with him and see his growth as a person, and it just made you realize that yes, sometimes circumstances and experiences and things like that really do maybe boost someone's ability to grow, or just the way they can evolve as a person and just come into who they were really meant to be. And of course, the dynamics of his marriage with Tolani and a lot of other things actually changed along the line because of some of these negative experiences and circumstances. And like they said, this is somebody who was living the life, having fun, enjoying himself, and this is what came about of it. So yeah, it was a really nice way that she wrote Samuel's character. I like the way that she wrote Tolani's character, and even the minor characters in this book, like Cynthia's friend, like the effect that they had on this book was so significant, culminating into the end and what eventually happened. I think there was like an epilogue at the end, which was like maybe 2 years after or so, and that was the one that really got me into a hangover, like so people have to do this. Honestly, I don't even know how it would have gone if the author decided to write the end of this book another way, but I just like the way she explored these characters and the way she gave them a realistic touch to it. I love the way that this book explored a lot of deep themes. I mean, infidelity is something that we hear a lot about, especially in the Nigerian setting, so much that it has become so normalized. Like, people are like, oh my goodness, is that your issue in your marriage? I beg, that's nothing. And it's more like, oh, as long as you're married and you put up that front, especially on social media, oh, we're married and we're happy, and that's all that matters. But I love the way the author was able to explore this theme in depth, to show you like the different characters and what they brought to this, the resultant effects of those actions from the infidelity, the circumstances, the experience, how each party was able to deal with that. Another important theme was faith. Samuel was able to evolve and just develop his faith. At the beginning, he was a Christian, like what we'll call a nominal Christian, so he didn't really like go to church. He was like, whatever, a mood, how do you call it, a religiously, like, it depends on your mood. Like, you go to church, it depends on your mood, you pray, it depends on your mood, that kind of thing. And you know, Tolani also lived the same life, so I mean, anything went for Samuel. I think that's basically it. And to be honest, I don't know whether he would have really changed or if he would have evolved if what happened, like the grand thing that happened, did not happen, that they all had to live with, and all the other messy events that happened. I don't know if he would have evolved. He might not have, but like I said, maybe sometimes it takes some human beings, some, you know, circumstances and experiences to sort of find who they were really meant to be. So I like that exploration of faith. I like the way, like I said, the author was able to subtly weave that into the book. It was okay for me so that it wasn't too overbearing, but I got the importance of the message. One other very important theme that I really appreciated was counseling. As a mental health advocate and counselor, like anything counseling, like in whatever form or shape it comes in, I am always very excited about. Why? Because I realized that even for somebody like me who finds it really hard to like open up about things they're going through, like it's very important to be able to speak to people about things individually, or if you're in a marriage as a couple. And this is what these people did. And just seeing the role that the older couple who was able to counsel them did, like some of the activities that they did, it was so realistic, it was so helpful, and that ultimately played a very crucial role in this book and in what happened to the characters. I like the other minor themes of maybe like friendship and just like family and, you know, marriage and all the things that come with that. So yeah, for me, generally, I feel like it was an enjoyable read. I definitely wanted to see how this book ended, and like I said, I can't get over it because I was like, oh my goodness, this is just a yeah, it really gave me that hangover, as it were. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. If this is something that you would like to read, let me know in the comments. If it's something that you've read, this book is available at Roving Heights and a couple of other bookstores around Nigeria. You can also check Amazon, maybe it's available there as well. So let me know what you thought of my thoughts on this book, what you think of some of the themes in this book in the comments, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.